our next discussion. Now we move on to our next news. Global leaders have welcomed the peace deal between Rwanda and DRC. The latest to welcome the accord is the UN Secretary General. Guterres called it a significant step towards de-escalation, peace, and long-term stability in the region. In a statement released, Guterres said the agreement offers renewed hope for the conflict-ridden eastern DRC and the wider Great Lakes region. He commended the United States for facilitating the deal alongside key coordination efforts by Qatar and African Union mediator, the Togolese president. Guterres also acknowledged the critical role played by the 5 co-facilitators designated by the East African Community and the Southern African Development Community. He urged both sides to fully uphold the commitments made under the agreement, including the cessation of hostilities and the implementation of all related measures outlined in UN Security Council Resolution 2773 adopted earlier this year. The UN chief emphasized that the United Nations, including its peacekeeping mission, MONUSCO, remains fully committed to supporting the implementation of the accord in close coordination with African and international partners. The peace deal aims to end decades of devastating conflict in Eastern Congo. According to the United Nations, the conflict between the two has displaced over 7.8 million people. Now we go back to our guest discussion on this topic. We're joined by Mahmoud Muhammad Nuruddin. He's a journalist from Ghana. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for staying with us, Mahmoud. How does this agreement change the dynamics with other regional players, for example, Uganda or Burundi, who also have interest in and influence in Eastern Congo?
We're seeing a lot of people migrating to these countries because of the conflict. And so once it calls for joint security plan, helping refugees return home, improving humanitarian access and regional trade, it comes as a great news to them, because if you are having a lot of people moving from other country, from a particular country to your country, I mean, you are going to experience a great burden, especially in terms of your economic, in terms of your population, and among other things. There are other people who would actually come and would change so many things about your country. And so these steps that has been taken to bring a long-term peace and cooperation between these two countries in the region is a welcoming step. It's something that would be able to ensure that the countries around that share border with DR Congo and Rwanda would be able to operate and cooperate with them very well. And so it comes the great news to these countries that are seeing a lot more people moving to settle in their countries.
And building on that, the DRC foreign minister, we have seen that he said this is a beginning, not an end. How difficult will it be to ensure justice for victims and help refugees and displaced families return safely? And him saying this dialogue, does it suggest other challenges that might come in the way?
Exactly. Now, the issue of M23 group, like it was not mentioned clearly in the deal. We know Rwanda's position. We know DR Congo's position on the M23 group. Rwanda is claiming or saying that it is not responsible for the operation of M23 group. DR Congo is also saying that, or the international community is saying that the M23 group is being backed by Rwanda. And so Rwanda says it is an internal Congolese issue. So as to how this issue will be resolved and how they will be withdrawn from the eastern part of Congo, that is a challenge. So it is a turning point, but there are a lot more things to be done on the ground. Now, you sign a deal, you have to go back home to ensure that these, issues or these agreements that you have signed will be implemented. And this particular issue could change everything overnight. And so it is a step. And we are hoping, US has mentioned that this is also a step where they would have to come, the two presidents would have to come back, sit down and continue with a deal to a stage where they know peace has eventually returned to DR Congo. And so we are looking forward to seeing a day that the M23 group will be withdrawn from eastern part of Congo, and I'm sure when that is done, we are likely to see most of the issues being addressed. But as it stands now, if Rwanda withdraws its military and M23 groups are still there, then it will be a challenge to DR Congo.
Thank you very much, Mahmoud Nuruddin, for joining us today and sharing that insight all the way from Africa. Well, that's all we have time for. We will